The grocery store was packed that evening, the aisles filled with tired shoppers, pushing their carts through the endless shelves. Among them was Emma, a 22-year-old college student who had stopped by after class to pick up a few essentials. She was on a tight budget, carefully choosing what she needed without going overboard. But as she reached the checkout line, something caught her attention. A woman a few spots ahead of her, nervously counting crumpled dollar bills in her hand. The woman had 2 small children with her, their wide eyes darting between the groceries on the conveyor belt and their mother's anxious face. The cashier scanned each item, and as the total climbed higher, the woman's expression shifted. She hesitated, then started removing items one by one. A carton of milk, a bag of apples, a box of cereal. Her little girl tugged on her sleeve, whispering something about the cereal, but the mother just shook her head, forcing a smile. Emma felt a lump in her throat. She didn't know this woman, but she knew that look. She had seen it before, in her own mother's eyes years ago, when they had struggled to make ends meet. Without thinking twice, she stepped forward and spoke up. "Hey, don't worry about it. I got it," Emma said, swiping her card before the woman could protest. The mother's eyes widened in shock. No, you don't have to do that," she stammered. "I want to," Emma insisted with a warm smile. "It's just groceries." The woman's eyes welled up with tears. She looked down at her children, who were now beaming with excitement, and then back at Emma. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice cracking. "You have no idea what this means to us." Emma shrugged, trying to play it off as no big deal. "Just promise me one thing," she said playfully. "When you're in a better place someday, help someone else." The woman nodded vigorously. "I will. I swear I will." As Emma walked out of the store, she felt lighter, happier than she had in weeks. She didn't do it for attention or recognition. Just the thought of those kids having their favorite cereal in the morning was enough. A week passed, and Emma had all but forgotten about the encounter. Life moved on, classes piled up, and work shifts blurred together. But then, something happened. Something she never could have expected. She received a phone call from an unknown number. Normally, she would have ignored it, but something made her pick up. "Hello," she answered hesitantly. "Is this Emma?" A deep voice on the other end asked. Yes. Who's this?" There was a brief pause before the voice continued. "My name is Daniel Carter. I believe you recently helped my sister at the grocery store." Emma's mind raced. The woman from the store. She had never asked for her name. "Oh, yeah, I think so," she said cautiously. "I'd like to meet with you," Daniel said. "There's something I need to talk to you about. It's important." Emma's heart pounded. Why would this man want to meet her? Had she done something wrong? Was he upset? A million thoughts flooded her mind, but she couldn't ignore the curiosity bubbling inside her. "What is this about?" she asked, her voice steady but uncertain. Daniel's response was simple, yet loaded with meaning. "Let's just say, your kindness didn't go unnoticed, and I think it's about to change your life." Emma stood frozen, gripping her phone tightly. She had no idea what was coming next, but something told her this was only the beginning. Emma sat on her bed, staring at her phone long after the call ended. Her mind swirled with questions. Why would this man want to meet her? And what did he mean by saying her kindness didn't go unnoticed? It had been just a small act, a simple moment in a grocery store. She never expected anything in return. For a brief second, she considered not going. After all, she didn't know this person, but something deep inside her told her that this wasn't just a random call. There was more to the story. And so, despite the uncertainty, She agreed to meet Daniel Carter the next afternoon at a cafe downtown. The following day, Emma arrived at the cafe a few minutes early, her nerves buzzing. She had pictured Daniel as an older man, maybe in his 50s. But when he walked in, she was surprised. He couldn't have been older than 30. Tall with a sharp but kind face, he spotted her instantly, offering a polite nod before making his way over. "Emma?" he asked, as he took a seat across from her. "Yeah," she replied, trying to read his expression. "So, what's this about?" Daniel folded his hands on the table, studying her for a moment before speaking. "First, I just want to say thank you. You helped my sister, Lauren, when she really needed it. She didn't tell me everything, but I know she was struggling that night. What you did, it meant a lot." Emma felt a small wave of relief. So this wasn't anything bad. She offered a small smile. She didn't have to say anything. "I just saw that she was in a tough spot, and I wanted to help. It wasn't a big deal." Daniel let out a quiet chuckle. "That's the thing, though. You might not think it was a big deal, but to her, it was everything. And it made me realize something. People like you, kind people who do the right thing without expecting anything in return, are rare. And that's exactly why I wanted to meet you." Emma raised an eyebrow. "I don't understand." Daniel exhaled and leaned back slightly. "I run a foundation that helps struggling families get back on their feet. We provide financial support, job assistance, housing, whatever it takes to help people rebuild their lives. I've been searching for someone to help me with a new project, someone who genuinely cares. And after hearing about what you did, I think you might be that person." Emma blinked. "Wait, are you offering me a job?" "In a way," Daniel said with a small smile. "More like an opportunity. You see, I don't just want to hire another employee. I want to work with someone who believes in this cause, someone who knows what it's like to struggle and still chooses to help others. If you're interested, I'd like to invite you to see what we do firsthand." Emma's thoughts raced. She had been juggling classes, a part-time job, and endless worries about her future. And now, out of nowhere, this man was offering her something completely unexpected, a chance to make a real difference. But could she do it? Could she just drop everything and step into a world she knew nothing about? "I don't know," she admitted, biting her lip. "I mean, it sounds amazing, but I don't have experience with stuff like this." "You don't need experience," Daniel assured her. "You just need heart, and from what I've heard, you have plenty of that." Emma hesitated. A part of her wanted to say yes immediately, but another part whispered caution. Was this too good to be true? Could she trust this stranger? Sensing her hesitation, Daniel reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of paper, sliding it across the table. "I get it. This is a lot to take in. That's why I want you to see it for yourself. Here's the address of one of the shelters we support. Come by tomorrow, meet the people, see the work we do, then decide." Emma looked down at the paper. Her heart pounded. "I'll think about it," she said, finally. "That's all I ask," Daniel replied with a knowing smile. That night, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the conversation. She kept replaying Daniel's words in her mind, wondering if this was a sign. If maybe, just maybe, this was the path she was meant to take. The next morning, curiosity won over doubt. She took the bus to the address Daniel had given her, a small shelter nestled between worn-down buildings. As she stepped inside, she was met with a wave of warmth, not just from the heating, but from the people. Volunteers bustled around, handing out food, setting up beds, comforting those who had nowhere else to go. A young girl no older than 6 clung to her mother's leg, much like the little girl at the grocery store. Emma's heart clenched. "Emma!" She turned to see Daniel approaching. "You actually came," he said, looking pleased. "Yeah," she said, scanning the room. "I wanted to see for myself." "And?" he asked. Emma took a deep breath. This wasn't what she had planned for her life. But maybe, just maybe, it was exactly what she needed. She turned back to Daniel. Her decision made. "I'm in." But what Emma didn't realize was that this decision would change everything in ways she never could have imagined. Emma had no idea what she was stepping into when she said those two words, "I'm in." From that moment on, her life took a turn she never expected. She started working with Danielle's foundation, helping families in need, organizing donations, and listening to stories of struggle and survival. Every day, she met people who had lost everything: jobs, homes, loved ones, but still held on to hope. And with each passing day, she realized something. This work wasn't just changing their lives, it was changing hers too. One evening, as she was finishing up at the shelter, a familiar voice stopped her in her tracks. "Emma!" She turned around and gasped. It was Lauren, the woman from the grocery store. The woman she had helped without a second thought. But she looked different now, stronger, brighter. There was a sense of peace in her eyes that hadn't been there before. Lauren rushed forward and pulled Emma into a hug. "I've been hoping I'd see you again," she said, her voice shaking. "I wanted to tell you, that night at the store, you didn't just buy me groceries. You gave me hope when I thought I had none left." Emma swallowed the lump in her throat. "How are you?" she asked, her voice soft. Lauren smiled, glancing over at her kids, who were playing nearby. "Better, because of this place, because of Daniel, because of you." She paused. "I got a job last week. It's nothing fancy, but it's enough. And soon, we'll have a place of our own." Emma felt her chest tighten. She had started this journey thinking she was just one person, that her small act of kindness wouldn't make much of a difference. But now, standing here with Lauren, she realized something powerful. Kindness wasn't small. It had a ripple effect. One simple act, one moment of compassion, could change everything. As Emma walked home that night, she thought back to the girl she had been just a few weeks ago. The girl who had been worried about money, about her future, about whether she was even making a difference in the world. She smiled to herself, realizing that she had found her answer. Sometimes, the biggest surprises in life come when you least expect them. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is a single act of kindness.